In this edition of Artifacts, the Griswold Challenge.
Clark Griswold really helped create the fun side of the holidays and showcasing that you can be wild with your decorations and it's okay.
Colorful textile creations.
What's always in my work is the attitude of hope and joy and unlimited possibilities of being able to be free and to be yourself.
Wearable art.
Most of the stuff that inspires me comes out of the ancient Middle East. That's kind of why I call it the ancient craft.
And exquisite gift wrapping by Charles Adams.
So you deal with gifts like you deal with everything else in life. You try to make it work for whoever's receiving it.
It's all ahead on this edition of Artifacts.
Funding for Artifacts is made possible by Sandy Raffelli, the June S. Wisham Estate, Carol Frank Buck, Merrill and Lebo Newman, Heidi Marie Rockland, Meg and Dillard Myers, the annual contributions of PBS Reno members, and by
Hello, I'm Beth Macmillan and welcome to Artifacts. In our featured segment, we learn about the annual Griswold Challenge, put on by the nonprofit organization 39 North Downtown in Sparks. In this festive event that helps benefit the community in many ways, participants compete for cash prizes and the coveted Clark Griswold Award. Businesses and residents are double dog dared to build creative displays that use as many lights and decorations as possible, all with themes based on holiday movies and family traditions.
The Griswold Challenge started as a part of the 39 North Pole Village. We created this challenge to bring the community together, both businesses and families, to have a little stake in the game of the North Pole Village. It's all based on the infamous Mr. Clark Griswold, who overly decorated his home, and we just wanted to pay homage to him in our 39 North Pole event. Unfortunately, the pandemic has stopped that. We just need to help do our part to keep the community safe. So this year, what we've had to do is take a step back from the North Pole Village and focus solely on the Griswold Challenge, allowing us to have a virtual event where people can enter their homes or their businesses for a donation of $20 or more if you would like, and that goes to the Community Food Pantry, which is local in Sparks.
The Community Food Pantry is here to serve those people who are having to make a decision between paying rent, buying medicine, putting shoes on their kids' feet, getting gas to get to work. We're here to help them fill that food gap that they are experiencing really, really hard right now.
We do pick and choose what events that we like to benefit the community, and we go wholeheartedly in.
Especially this time of the year. It's been a really hard year for many people, and the proceeds going towards helping the food pantry for Christmas is going to be an excellent cause.
Every dollar donated through the Griswold Challenge, through the entry fees, every dollar will buy 3 meals for someone in the line in the pantry. And that dollar is really stretching a long ways.
Your family, decorate your home together, creating those memories safely. Your businesses can have a team building exercise for the holidays. Instead of going out to maybe a party or something, you get together and you decorate your business.
What we noticed about the staff, they love to decorate just like we do. They have the same focus as us, and they want to win.
The prizes that we're offering is, first place is the Clark Griswold Award, and you can win $500, whether you're a business or a resident. Those are 2 different categories. The second place is the Cousin Eddie Award, and that is for $250. The creativity we get to see from the individual contestants is really cool. Obviously, everybody's different and everybody brings something to the table. So seeing all the displays together really make it a unique experience, because you're going from one which might be beautiful and white and pretty, and then you're going to the next display, which is quirky and fun and super charismatic and crazy. This year it's going to be cool because you can drive around to the residents and individual businesses and see that same effect, just on a much larger scale. So that's going to be fun to see how everybody's businesses do themes. Or not do themes, just gaudy it up with lights. I mean, that's what Clark Griswold did.
I'd say we're going to channel our inner Griswold by bringing out Mr. Griswold himself. We have a lot of lights up right now, and so this morning we bought another 2,000 lights. That's going to be going back up on the building behind us. So
I would say close to about 10,000 lights are going to go up.
I think a lot of people can relate to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation because it was kind of one of the main holiday funny movies that existed actually ever. Clark Griswold really kind of helped create the fun side of the holidays and showcasing that you can be wild with your decorations and it's okay.
In her quilts, artist Cynthia Lockhart tells a story. Through layering, painting, silk screening, and more, she creates images full of power and hope. We head to the Taft Museum of Art in Cincinnati, Ohio, to view an exhibition of Lockhart's work.
Ellen and Ann from the Taft called me up one day and said we'd be interested in coming over to look at your artwork. The Taft is interested in you. So I prepared the visit for them. They came by, they looked at my artwork in the house, visited my studio, and then probably about a month later I get a call and with an invitation to do a show. Obviously the title of the show and the design and depicting of the show was up to me to come up with. And so that journey to be associated with the Taft started. Journey to Freedom is a quilt that I did years ago, but it's really at the heart of a story that I believe in. I believe in a story of people who were slaves, of people who were brought to this country unbeknownst to what would happen to them, left their history, came here, and over a series of 400 years became a vibrant and exciting part of this America. Within my work, I build a story. I research the project, I read up on, I will look up the history of it and read several adaptations, books and what have you, maybe even look at a movie, and then I start putting that together in terms of sketching. And so I come up with the images that resonate in me, that are strong, that are powerful, and I get a nudge and it's like, okay, this is what you do, this is what you put together. And I begin to put the colors together for the mood that I'm creating within the artwork. And I will either make the fabric, I've done something called fabrication where I'm literally putting tiny little pieces, bits and pieces like a collage to create a very dynamic look, or I will dye the fabric, or I'll do symbols and I'll silk screen as well. I am so impressed with the story that the Taft has with Robert Duncanson. I'm very proud of the history of the Taft, being able to embrace an African-American artist and also being involved in abolitionist movement, and the integrity of the Taft to still continue to have a program in place that will support the African-American community with their Duncanson. Again, I had to research the Duncanson murals, and you have to select a piece of art in the Taft. And I looked vigorously for many things, and I was attracted to many things, but you had to narrow it down. So in looking at Duncanson's work, he does a phenomenal depiction of this environment that just looks like a place that you want to be, that you could just walk into this place. And so that's critical for an artist, that the viewer actually can feel that. And then he did something very whimsical, was to put a Trompe l'oeil frame around the artwork, and I thought that resonated with me. That's sort of playing tricks with things. I can be a trickster with my artwork. So I said, with that whimsy and with that those beautiful color muted tones that he used, I could work with that. So what I decided when I started sketching is that in Duncanson's murals, I found an area where I felt a slave could have passed through one of his murals. Therefore, I decided to have a runaway slave passing through the image of the inspiration of the Duncanson.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
The title of it is Runaway, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, which is an African-American hymn which depicts and guides the travelers to freedom. So it was a song that was invented to give them instructions of where they would go to seek freedom. And so with that, then I said, okay, now I have to come up with some type of whimsy and some type of flight. And I did that by using a figure that almost was like a camouflage figure that is escaping through the fields. And again, above him, there are the three faces that are singing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. I also created some orbs. So the orb structures are just the round circles that you see in the work are representative of travelers, representative of people who are no longer with us. But it's a way to remember them, the circles. So inside the circle is always a prayer, it's always an aspiration, and so the orbs surround the slave as the slave runs towards freedom. What's always in my work is the attitude of hope and joy and unlimited possibilities of being able to be free and to be yourself. Freedom is a very precious thing. And as a part of the show, I said, whoa, I took on a big task. This is my perspective about freedom, journey to freedom, depicted through my ancestors. What does everybody else feel about freedom? And lots of writing, talking about freedom, lots of writing. And then it dawned on me that what do people think about freedom? It's a huge subject. It's one of the most important subjects that we have, our individual rights as human beings to be free, to be treated free and equally.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home.
See more at taftmuseum.org. Now let's take a look at this week's art quiz. In the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, how many Christmas lights does Clark Griswold put up when he decorates the house? Is the answer A, 1,000, B, 10,000, C, 25,000, or D, 50,000? And the answer is C, 25,000. Up next, we go to Detroit, Michigan, to meet Virgil Taylor, an artist who creates wearable art. Inspired by the Middle East, Taylor designs special pieces full of spirit.
I play with fire. I zone out on working with metal. It spoke to me. I'm an artist. I'm not a jeweler, and there is a difference. I have friends that are jewelers that are brilliant. Some of the stuff they do I could never do. I don't have the patience nor the temperament for it because materials talk to me. I grew up in Detroit around Central High School. My mom was a huge art fan. And so it was also, when I think back about it now, like nothing in our house ever went unused. We were always creating stuff. And so I guess I had a natural aptitude for it. I've had a very interesting life, but I wasn't doing my craft all the time. I'd come back to it, I'd do it. And then this particular facility, Birmingham Bloomfield Art Center, I was in my 30s when I discovered this place. And so this place started getting me back into it. I have an affinity for certain types of jewelry. Most of the stuff that inspires me comes out of the ancient Middle East. That's kind of why I call it the ancient craft. Ancient Africa or African nations, Middle Eastern nations. My inspiration tends to be around those regions, those processes. I have an affinity for ancient techniques. I went to Africa last year and spent time with the Maasai. I was really honored to do that and fascinated by their processes because they're so raw. I mean, when you have people making like annealing metal over dung ovens, I mean, which is pretty fascinating to watch. I do a lot of really organic stuff. I'm very fond of happy accidents. You know, a lot of times other people will go for refining something. I'm like, no, that's perfect. Leave it just like that. It works for me. So I don't strive to make art that is real refined. I have a ring that I'm working on now. I had no clue when I started with this ring what I was going to do. And I ended up with a stone that I had no idea I was going to get, but it just kind of all evolved. And the final touches are this evening on that piece. I have a client that's Ecuadorian. I did some pieces for him. I did a bangle bracelet for him that was really interesting, and the design ended up being my interpretation of an ancient Ecuadorian palatial aqueduct. And so it was filled with a blue resin. It was done in copper, 18 karat gold, and sterling silver. And so the resin that I used in it is blue. So it looked like it was a pool at the top, and it looked like there was blue running through the veins because I cracked it open. I had another client, a young man she was very close to, was killed in the naval accident off the coast of Japan a few years ago. And she went to his funeral at Arlington, and they gave her one of the shell casings from when they did the 21 gun salute for him. I was in that President's Honor Guard. I was in the unit that did that. So when she sent me the shell casing, and she was like, I need something made out of this. And then I took the shell casing and turned it into part of that bracelet. So it came out pretty remarkable. I was really proud of it. That's tremendous honor for me. And I have had people give me their parents' jewelry or grandma's jewelry or, you know, different pieces. I got this urn that I'm getting ready to do. That's just a huge honor for somebody to entrust that kind of thing to me. I recently have been doing some bracelets. They're African, they're different parts of Africa, but they're currency jewelry, what they would call wearable currency jewelry. Some people get a little miffed because when they see them, a lot of times they see it as representing slavery. The reality of it with those bracelets, though, was that yes, they sometimes were involved in slave trading, but the people that were using those bracelets and these wearable jewelry, that had little or nothing to do with slave trade. That was a method of people, currency, wearing it because they didn't have pockets and things, and so they would wear these things, and sometimes it would be a display of wealth. People would barter with them, so it would be the equivalent of us wearing dollar bills or $100 bills on our wrists. So I've been doing some of those recently. I've been casting those. The beading that I do, I typically use African trade beads. They're typically ancient, and they have a value and a lot of significance. So the stuff that I create has some historical significance or some meaning to me. So when I create it, it's more than just a beaded bracelet or a beaded necklace. I feel like it's where I come from. It resonates with me, it always has. For me, working with any of those materials is the ability to take something and create something beautiful that someone will enjoy and other people will marvel at and look at and say, oh, that's so beautiful or interesting or whatever. This is always cool. I guess it always resonates with me that, like, why are we attracted to jewelry? And just like, why do we sing? Why do we dance? You know, why do some things make us happy? And wearable art or jewelry, for me, is just part of that beautification. Traditionally, humans like to embellish. They like to beautify themselves, whether it be with paint. If you go back and look at old cave drawings, people would paint themselves with mud or whatever, and then they would adorn themselves with bones or beads or rocks or whatever that they found, feathers that they found that were beautiful. So there's something to me that resonates with us as humans about beauty, about the embracing of beauty. For me, I think it's a reflection of our psyche, our desire to always embrace the beautiful. And so jewelry, wearable art is just another component or aspect of that.
Discover more at theancientcraft.com. Let's travel to Carson City to meet Charles Adams, where we'll learn how his eclectic personality and unique sense of humor guide his exquisite method of gift wrapping.
Almost anything can be elevated to an art form if it's done beautifully, tastefully, beautifully, nice texture, nice colors. It's just that people don't think of gift wrapping as art yet. My name is Charles Adams. And when it comes to gift wrapping, I guess I look at it differently from other people. Gifts are given on special occasions. And in my mind, in order for the recipient to feel special, the gift wrap must be special and geared to them. Some of my gift wraps are extreme and out of the ordinary. I call it extreme because I think about who the recipient of the gift is going to be. I always include humor in gift wraps, and I think this kid has a funny personality. He laughs a lot. He's mischievous. He's a pain to his parents, but basically he's a good kid. I'll put a rat on that kid's gift. And of course, when he sees it, he just comes unglued. So you deal with gifts like you deal with everything else in life. You try to make it work for whoever's receiving it. And that's the difference between my gifts and most other people's gifts. But there's just a very few people that take the time and the energy and the effort to take gift wrapping to a higher level. It can be kept simple, and you can do like a shoelace bow on a nice paper with a nice ribbon, and it's very simple, clean, and easy to do. Anybody can do it. Or you can think about the gift as art, where you want a stacked bow or you want to use certain colors. You want it to grab the eye, and you want the gift to sort of represent its own message. In other words, the gift speaks for itself. When you see it, it's adorable. You're gonna love it, or they're gonna love it, just because it looks so good. Doesn't matter what the gift is. I worked at Columbia Pictures in Hollywood as a decorator, and my life was very interesting because I had been on sets with stars. As you get older and you've had a productive life and you've met some of the top-notch people in the world, you can't just become sedentary. You gotta still be active, and you have to keep your mind going. I didn't set out to be a gift wrapper. it just worked out where the better I got at it and the more comfortable I became at doing it, the more people would ask me to do it, and then I would comply. To each his own. We all think what we think and we do what we do. Life is short, sweet, and you must be self-entertaining. You gotta find humor in everything because it's there. And when we get to the end of the line, we're out of here. So let's have fun in the process. That's what gift wrapping is about, having fun.
And that wraps it up for this edition of Artifacts. For more arts and culture and to watch past episodes, visit pbsreno.org/artifacts. Until next week, I'm Beth Macmillan. Thanks for watching.
Funding for Artifacts is made possible by Sandy Raffelli, the June S. Wisham Estate, Carol Frank Buck, Merrill and Lebo Newman, Heidi Marie Rockland, Meg and Dillard Myers. The annual contributions of PBS Reno members, and by